Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I want to share some thoughts I have on bigotry and how it's not far removed from most of us, because many of us are capable of saying words like, I don't know, name any political party, or for an example, religions. We can talk about one denomination, many times some being more often associated with acts of violence carried out in the name of. Now, many people can be labeled as one thing or another, and many people also will never see some of the bigotry that's going on right in their very own essence. Just as an example, on my channel right here, I love to share stories about, or that at least include, wildlife and nature. Now, some people, I'm going to talk specifically about someone that is a close person to me. Some people will see an image and immediately shun it because of also bigotry or even religious upbringing. Like, for an example, if someone sees a picture of a snake, they might say, "Ooh, I don't like snakes." They might even themselves hiss and spit. And so you start seeing some reflection in terms of how people respond to the things that they also would spit venom at. For some people, to see a snake is basically something that will immediately cause them to spit. And for some people will look at someone, and based on whatever they are labeled as, they'll think that word, like whether it's the political delineation or title, not title, the political affiliation, or the religious specificity. Like, for an example, if someone wears some head attire and that's part of their religion, then basically even saying that's part of their religion is an interesting generalization. And the way that it's said or thought is often the very essence of the difference between being a bigot and not. So how do I mean that? Well, anyone can say any word in the world out there. Some of the words in the world, in my nation, for an example, are very polarizing. They're words that can cause people to go into shock. It's like saying the C word in other places versus here. It might not have the same connotation, but the energy behind the word always will be what trumps everything else. Do you see kind of what I'm doing there? I'm using language, and some people are unable to see, hear, or even speak anything related to the truth. That's a fact. And you can see it, and you can often see it in the participation of self by who is interacting with whom and why. Do we defend anyone ever in their time of need or in their time of struggle? Do we try to uplift one another, or do we constantly try to trip someone up? So for this person that's close to me, one time they ghosted me. They basically added me to a block list. And upon doing so, they also said something about having been added to an exalted list. And I started to wonder if they knew what the word exalted meant. It's like highly regarded. So apparently I got added to a highly regarded list and blocked by somebody with whom I was attempting to have this very similar discussion, whether we are ourselves are bigots or not. And some people cannot not see what's going on. And they can't see it because, well, that would mean being able to see the truth. And many people cannot see the truth. Many people cannot hear it. And what's more interesting is many people choose to not speak it. Why is that? Have we given up? Do we have faith? So this person that's close to me who is very much into religion will talk about other people's religions and the people in particular that tend to wear some headgear, some head garment. The things that this person will say are oftentimes said with contempt because of their own religious upbringing. So sometimes the same quality comes out in this person when they talk about snakes, because again, it's something that they think was told to them in a way that proves that something that they believe is true. And if anyone else doesn't believe it, well, at first it was a joy to try to enlighten someone to that truth that they did absolutely discover. But then they became bitter and bigoted towards anyone who did not think like or align like themselves. That's basically an exclusivity of someone who is at their core narcissistic. That's just a word. But to think about the bigot, you have to think about the word. What is a narcissist? What is a bigot? How do I use the word? Am I yelling it at someone, berating them, saying, hey, you narcissist? You know, I could have used any other N-word and it would have had the same connotation if I were to use that word in a vindictive way. So the narcissist, the egocentric, the self-absorbed, you know, we're all that. We can all recognize one another, right? It's pretty easy. And we can usually recognize one another by the fruit that we bear, the fruit that we provide. And some people are providing fruit that helps to energize one another, lift up, you know, enjoy that which was created, which leads me to the play on the words, but which created which? You know, who made who? And who do we give thanks to as we go about celebrating every day? I say celebrating because, well, either we're in a great period of mourning where we constantly go out and have meal after meal without learning to heal after heal, or we're basically a little bit downtrodden because a lot of heavy things have happened in our lifespan for all of the people watching this type of video. Every generation that's watching these things is hearing, man, this guy, you know, he's saying so many things. It sounds so unrelated. And at the same time, you can see the subscribership on this channel. This is relatable. People do understand what you're going through, but oftentimes many people will hide those aspects and try not to show what would be called vulnerability. It's even hard to say, you know, but that's the self-absorbed thought process that would be necessary for someone to be bigoted enough to keep constantly doing what they can to trip someone up and bring them down without having a discussion and saying, this is why I keep trying to trip you. I think that you're this, that, or the other. There's no discussion, whether it's passionate or not. There's just no discussion. There's just basically what's called bullying. Bullying is a trait of something like a narcissist. Bullying is the trait of someone who would go about talking about even a different gender differently and demeaning them, saying they were just going to grab them by their, you know, the arrogance of having a whole situation that's occurred where everyone can see that there were communications between between an inmate who allegedly committed suicide in prison and an elected official, and then some. We were just talking about this topic today at lunch, and that's basically what got me to thinking about this topic of bigotry and how do I relate it to anyone with whom I have any kind of a relationship. You know, for anyone out here who's watching this and thinks down the road of the topic on chosen ones and how you're unable to communicate with so and so, and you know, you've run into a nest of this, that, and the other. Well, really, it's just a matter of shine and how much we're shining through and why we're shining through. If you're shining through for something that's true, well, I can assure you that in this world itself, the rulers are definitely not in alignment with you keeping your own wealth. They want to take your wealth from you. And health is wealth. And so for today, once again, I want to share that this channel has to do with whatever I feel like talking about. And if you don't really enjoy that, I would love your active participation that helps us to go in the correct direction. So far, the only thing I'm seeing is basically that someone else appears to be not seeing in terms of responses. That's not, of course, happening for all of you who are a little bit more open-minded. And by all of you, you know who you people are. With that all in mind, it's, again, the connotation, the delivery, and what we intend. Is it intentionally hostile? Or are we uplifting one another? That's really all there is to think about. So when it comes to health, health is wealth. Protect your wealth by investing in uplifting things. So, yeah, the comments and the overall general consensus of the energy that I've received has definitely taken a toll on me, but there was a toll for a reason. And now it's your turn to help us to collect what was due. And to do that, basically, I just need to know, what direction do we take this channel in? And it's definitely going to be something that's in alignment with what we've talked about previously. Otherwise, start your own channel and we'll go from there. Until next time, peace.
On this particular day, I would see quite a few armadillos. This is very uncommon to see so many armadillos during the day, but climate challenges have presented us with quite a few unique opportunities as of late. On this particular walk, I was at Guadalupe River State Park, and I was also finding quite a bit of man-made debris. Here we're about to see the second armadillo that I saw on this walk. So the armadillo is in front of me, and I'm just crouched down, and I've been sitting like this for a while. And recently the topic of health and wellness has been coming up among my peers. And one of the things that I've known to be a fact after having experienced it is that the ability to sit in a squatted position for an extended period of time while being calm is not only just beneficial holistically, but also topically. Like, for an example, right now I'm crouched down so that I can take advantage of this scant amount of shade, and the armadillo is in front of me in the brush, using the brush as its own shade. Check it out. Armadillos are typically caught up in foraging, and they don't have the best eyesight or hearing, so you can usually watch them for an extended amount of time uninterrupted. And in this case, this is the second armadillo that I saw from the day, and it's about to disappear into the brush. Here's the third armadillo I saw this day. Here's the fourth armadillo I saw on this day. The last time I saw so many armadillos foraging during the day, it was also during a time of great climate challenge where the armadillos were having quite a bit of trouble scavenging, or foraging I should say, for the things that they would eat normally during the nighttime. This is still the fourth armadillo that I saw, and it happened to be approaching me, and so I decided to crouch down by the side of the trail to see if it would give us a close-up encounter for a unique perspective of this beautiful creature that happens to be part of my landscape and habitat here in the Texas region. Pay close attention and you'll notice the exact moment that this armadillo notices my presence. By this point in time, I'd been in a seated squat for several minutes, and the trails were pretty much absent of any traffic except for me. And the armadillos, of course. It should go without saying that some of these items that are on our trail systems need to be called to attention so that maybe we can do something about these things collectively. Here's the fifth armadillo that I would see on this particular 5-mile walk. It disappeared into the brush just as readily as any of the other ones. Almost as if to prove a point, here's another armadillo right when I was about to leave the parking area that I was in. As part of my walk, I decided to also walk down to the river, where I got to see a pooch enjoying the beautiful, clear, cold water, which I decided to do as well. As I acclimated to the temperature, I decided to cross the river in my sandals. I hope you enjoyed our walk today, and I hope you have a great day.
Gave me his hand, told me he'd love me as long as he can. At first I avoided each time that he'd ask the simplest question with each shiny task. Have you decided where you want to go? He got quite impatient, said you gotta choose. It's only your spirit you're gonna lose. My time ran out quickly, I couldn't believe. But what I had said, I didn't deceive. Have you decided where you want to go? Devil, I'm staying right here. It's probably better if you disappear. The devil and angry struck in my head. If I hadn't moved, I'd surely be dead. Have you decided where you wanna go? I said, don't you touch me, protected by God. Devil moved on, she went on her way, and still I am wary to this very day. Have you decided where you want to go? Where you want to go? Have you decided? Do you even know?
Thank you. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to this interesting creation. And till next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.